welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to Chentex Multimedia and Australian Indian Radio, Australia Live. Hey, go the Maroons, go the Maroons. Well, what's your bet for tonight? Townsville is just abuzz with everything that's happening there, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a tight match, that's for sure, but we will see how it fares out. Well, right now, let's move on to get some of the news. Well, he is live from our Deputy Premier, Stephen Miles. We ready?
We're good?
Yeah, all good.
Okay, we're ready now. Everyone all good? Excellent. Well, at the weekend, the Palaszczuk government made a major announcement, a $1.8 billion Queensland Jobs Fund. And today, right now, the Energy Minister, Mick de Brenni, is giving a CEDA speech where he is outlining the next investment in that Queensland Jobs Fund. Well, he said the Jobs Fund would be all about helping our existing industries to expand as well as attracting new industries to Queensland in order to create jobs. And so today's announcement is the next milestone in the partnership between Stanwell and Iwatani, a big Japanese powerhouse company that wants Queensland green hydrogen. And today we're announcing that we have identified land at Aldoga near to here in Gladstone, 236 hectares of land where we hope to build a hydrogen electrolyser plant. We will use renewable energy, solar and wind generated here within our central Queensland renewable energy zone to make green hydrogen and export it to Japan and around the world. In the process, we will create thousands of jobs in construction and in local manufacturing, which will inject billions of dollars into the Queensland economy. We've proven here in Gladstone that we can do big projects like this, that we can create whole new industries and in the process drive billions of dollars of investment and jobs when we delivered the 3 LNG processing and export plants. And that's precisely what we want to see happen over the next 5, 6, 10 years. A new hydrogen industry creating jobs for Central Queenslanders, exporting clean, renewable energy from some of the best renewable energy resources in the world to places that can't, like Japan. This will deliver jobs for the Gladstone community now and well into the future. And of course, it's great to be joined for this announcement by our member for Gladstone and the Mayor of Gladstone. So I'll hand over to them.
And of course, it will create jobs, and it's a great announcement for Gladstone. And this is the debate we were talking about. This is the conversation that we were talking about yesterday about the renewable energy and of course the mining sector as well, and jobs, resources. There's so much that we have to talk. As they say that on the talk, when you're going to the table, you need to have a balanced thinking and looking at not only short term, looking at long term, looking at the consequences as well, and of course also looking at the livelihood of people in and around there as well. Well, one of the other major news yesterday was that crackdown from AFP. Let's take a look and a report here from our Prime Minister.
Today, the Australian government, as part of a global operation, has struck a heavy blow against organised crime, not just in this country, but one that will echo around organised crime around the world. Operation Ironside has now charged hundreds of alleged offenders, seized millions of dollars in criminal proceeds, removed weapons from our streets and saved lives, and will continue to. It is an ongoing operation. The operation puts Australia at the forefront of this fight against dangerous organised criminals who peddle in human misery, and ultimately it will keep our communities and Australians safer. There's not a day that goes past when I am not thankful for the work of all of our police. They see things that the rest of us as citizens don't have to see or do. and for that we owe every single police officer our great thanks.
And well done, IFP, and that Operation Ironside, very successful. So we know it is wonderful. And one of the points that the Prime Minister made there is that, the frontliners get to see, or are subject to some of the sides that we would never have to see. So that is something, food for thought to think. I always think about these people who do all this tough work out there in the front. Well, right now let's go to Billa Villa, where the mum is pleading on behalf of the family, where the young one is in trouble in Christmas Island.
A desperate plea for help.
Please help us to get her out of detention and home to Bilola.
Priya Murugapan urging the federal government to let her Tamil asylum seeker family out of immigration detention as her 3-year-old daughter Tainika battles serious illness in a Perth hospital.
The fact that she had to wait so long to get the health care that she needed is devastating.
Tainika is in hospital after being rushed there for treatment. Supporters say she had been sick for 10 days on Christmas Island. Dizzy and vomiting, her condition only taken seriously after repeated pleas from her parents.
Thanks everybody for their love and good wish. We hope Taranika can get the help she needs now.
Tainika is now in a stable condition. Family friends say untreated pneumonia caused a blood infection, although the government insists appropriate care was provided and denies allegations of mistreatment.
They will continue to receive every medical care, and that care and where they are treated will continue to be determined by doctors.
The family has spent 3 years in immigration detention, most of it on Christmas Island, in an operation that has cost the federal government more than $6 million.
It's time to bring this sorry saga, what we as a country are doing to these 2 little Australian-born girls, to an end.
The federal government's attempt to deport the family to Sri Lanka is the subject of a lengthy court battle. But the minister is suggesting other options are now on the table.
We are going through the process now of investigating a range of resettlement options in relation to a number of different circumstances here in Australia.
Australian-born Tainika will turn 4 on Saturday. Every one of her birthdays has come while in detention. The family supporters are hoping that public opinion tilts in their favour, and that forces the government to act. Jacob Kagi.
And of course, the government has spent over $6 million on there as well, but legalities and upholding the laws of the land is what their stance is. Well, right now, the debate that we have been talking about yesterday was solar energy. Now we're talking about electric cars, but 2 electric cars have a future right here in Australia.
We are the first Australian-made and designed electric bus in build. And there's been a lot of opportunities that have come with it in the sense of learning about high voltage.
New South Wales plans to fully electrify the state bus fleet within 9 years, as states and territories blaze ahead with measures to accelerate the transition away from combustion engines.
In the meantime, they're still arguing in Canberra about climate change. I mean, we're getting on with it.
Only 0.75% of vehicles on the road in Australia are electric.
If you drive the fleet uptake of EVs, then you can drive the second-hand car market and make it more affordable for everybody.
Variously, blame for the sluggish uptake of electric vehicles in Australia has been flung at consumer choices or policymakers, or even the technological barrier of limited battery range in a country as vast as ours. But despite the promising signs for electric vehicles here, it's a far cry from the speed of change elsewhere.
It's the all-new F-150 Lightning.
In the US, the Ford Motor Company has gambled on a new electric version of the most produced car in history. After federal government subsidies, the Lightning EV model is now even cheaper than its combustion engine counterpart.
Mr. President!
This sucker's quick.
How's it drive?
With some 645,000 government vehicles also going electric, it's helping propel US uptake of EVs.
So California's got about 10% take-up of electric vehicles. Across the US, it's 1 to 2%. China is closer to 20%. Australia, it's under 1%. Let's be very clear, we need close to 100% adoption by 2025 to stay on any target we want for climate-wise, so we're way, way, way off. We've got to electrify our trucks and our cars, we've got to electrify our homes, our furnaces, our hot water.
Renewable energy expert Saul Griffith has advised the US government on their plans for mass-scale electrification, including transport.
You really have to wonder why Australia doesn't completely embrace electric vehicles. We spend $32 billion a year in importing petrol and diesel. That money would be saved if we were running our own electric vehicles on our own domestically produced renewables. We let the electric vehicle be caught in the culture wars around fossil fuels, which is a tragedy.
He describes Australian EV uptake as dismal, especially when you look at the government incentives rooftop solar attracted.
If we were running, the average household was running their petrol and diesel cars electrically, they'd be saving $2,000 to $4,000 a year on petrol and diesel. So it's somewhat hypocritical that they're working so hard to underwrite getting the rooftop solar costs here correct, yet we're not allowing ourselves to use that energy to save so much money in our vehicles.
The uptake will be driven by customers and the pace at which the cost and functionality of these vehicles improves. That's happening very, very quickly, and I'm optimistic that there will be significant uptake in the coming years.
This is yes. Of course, that would be coming in, and the uptake will be good. Well, right now we're in our the match in Townsville. Of course, there are many glimpses which I'd like to play, but copyright sort of stops us playing that, especially all the spot footage. But Townsville is gearing up for making history tonight. So tonight, history will be made when this match is played in Townsville, and of course, not only here in Queensland, go the Maroons. The whole country is abuzz with what's going to be happening tonight. There were people in Melbourne talking about the state of origin who didn't know anything about the state of origin, but it's happening tonight. So in Townsville, and as we know, a lot of preparation has gone underway, and it will be just so good to see that finally happening. And as I mentioned that there are I'd like to bring to you a lot more coverage and footage, but of course, as we know, we get problems with the teams
But John's
if
believes
they are
Daily
not
Cherry Evans'
the
suggestion
right team.
of a
So,
gentleman's
anyway,
agreement
it's
between
happening
the two
tonight,
teams.
and I know that all eyes will be in Townsville, and I think great arrangements have been made to accommodate everyone. And of course, people have just said that it's been hard getting tickets, because as soon as they came on, the last lots of 2,000 tickets that were put online went straight away, and they were taken and gulped in minutes. So ladies and gentlemen, right now, let's take a look at functions and events taking place in and around Brisbane from today onwards. So as we know that there are many functions and events that have been put on hold, and there are many that have been rearranged, and of course there's many that will be going ahead and taking place. As we know, Gopia Queensland's annual India Day Fair is going ahead this year, and that will be on the 15th of August at the South Bank Piazza, which is a wonderful venue. Roma Street Parklands, the seating capacity there's 1,200 as compared to the 3,000 underground seating that's available here in South Bank. So it's something to look forward to, and I know that everyone's looking forward to that event. Well, right now, let's take a very quick look at the functions and events happening here today, because don't forget that at 10 o'clock we go to our weekly real estate update with Usa Chandra of GlobeNet Realty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's about all we have time for in this segment. And of course, go the Maroons, as I've said before. It's on tonight, and Townsville's putting on a great show. And it is wonderful to see that for the first time ever, State of Origin match is being played in Townsville itself. So, wonderful to have that. And I think it's a great initiative to, move the game towards the Townsville. Well, right now, it's time to say goodbye. We'll see you back at 10 o'clock with the real estate update with GlobeNet Realty. Until then, remain safe and be good.